let's go over what actually happens, the symptoms that you experience as a result of fight or flight. We'll put a little guy up here. All right, first, anybody tell me what happens to your heart when fight or flight engages? Yeah. Sorry? That's right. Your heart starts pounding. And by the way, what I want to show you is that there is a physiological reason for everything that happens in your body. Every symptom you experience that is so unwelcome when you speak in public is actually a result of your brain telling your body to get ready to save your life, because it thinks that you will either have to run away or fight your way out of the situation you're in. Now remember, we still have caveman bodies. Modern society has evolved much faster than our physical selves, and we all have this response built in. So your brain can't tell the difference between a bear attack or being hit by a bus or speaking in public, or for that matter, even thinking about speaking in public, Lisa, right? It doesn't know the difference. If these three conditions exist in any situation, if your brain observes them, fight or flight kicks in. So the first thing I want you to know is that's not necessarily a bad thing. Fight or flight may actually save your life one day. Right? These things that you experience as symptoms in the speaking world may actually get you out of some life-threatening situation. So fight or flight is not bad. It's not something to fear, and it's not something to be angry about. It's just something to understand is misplaced in this situation. So first, you mentioned the pounding heart. That's exactly right. Your brain tells your body to increase the flow of oxygen-rich blood to all the muscles in your body because it doesn't know if you'll have to run or punch or climb or throw or whatever it is. But you'll do best. You'll have your best odds of surviving if your muscles are primed and ready to go. So your heart starts pumping faster and harder to send more oxygen-rich blood to the muscles. Next up, your lungs. What happens to your lungs or your breathing? How does your breathing feel?
Shallow.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? The thought is that your bronchial tubes, look like little branches in your lungs, open up and they try to force you to take in more air because they want to put more oxygen into your blood to send to your muscles. So the heart pumps faster and harder, and you breathe in more and more oxygen to try to oxygenate your blood. Everybody with me? I'm not a biologist by any means. All right, how about your stomach? What happens to your stomach?
Butterflies.
Butterflies. What the hell are butterflies? Anybody want to guess?
Acid?
It's a good guess. The theory is that when fight or flight is engaged, it's very much like traction control in your car. If your car senses that you're in some sort of skid and it's going out of control, it takes power from all of these other areas of the car and sends them, diverts them to different areas of the brakes to help the skid stop. So the idea is during the time the traction control is engaged, some functions in the car shut down entirely because they're not deemed important or necessary to saving you and the car at that moment. Right? They're extraneous. So those shut down, and all the power from those are diverted over to the areas that will help the car stop skidding and save your life. This is a very similar idea. The thought is that when you think about speaking in public, or you speak in public and you get those butterflies, your brain actually tells your digestive system to shut down and stop working, because digestion doesn't help you fight or run your way out of the situation. And the butterflies that you experience is the feeling of the blood that's usually aiding in digestion being drained out of your stomach and reassigned to your muscles to get you ready for the battle ahead. Does that make sense? Is that kind of cool? I thought that was kind of cool when I learned it. How about your voice? What happens to your voice? Crackles, shakes, doesn't it? Just when you need it most. Just when you're in front of a microphone in front of 1,000 people, your voice cracks like you're in 8th grade. Well, remember, your vocal cords are muscles. And all of your muscles, and we'll talk about this more in a moment, your body makes all of your muscles vibrate harder to try to create friction, and because in anticipation that at some point in the process you may be cold. You may have to spend the night up in a tree or something, and you wouldn't be able to take shelter. And so it's purposely making your muscles shake in order to create shivering, which is one of the ways that your body keeps itself warm. Isn't that weird? So your voice cracking is a symptom of your muscles tightening and shaking, both to keep you warm, and the other reason is because when your muscles are, when there's friction like that, when they're shivering and shaking, they have more force, and if you have to kick or punch or run, they'll be stronger as a result. Does that make sense? All right, how about your mouth? What happens to your mouth? Right. Which reminds me, I need a drink of water. You know why that is? Your body has shut down your digestive system. Saliva in your mouth is part of your digestive system. So your body stops producing the saliva that usually keeps your mouth, just comfortably moist. And as a result, you feel dry mouth and you're desperate for water. How about your memory?
I'm just thinking that's when your mind goes blank.
Yeah. Oh my God, brain, I need you now. I'm in front of 1,000 people. Where the hell did you go? I can't remember what I wanted to say about this slide. I don't know the name of the person I'm introducing. I'm not sure what my name is. The theory is that, again, one of the aspects of saving your life is that if you're about to be attacked by a bear or hit by a bus or whatever it is, you don't want to think too much, right? If a bus is coming at you at 50 miles an hour and it's 20 feet away, you don't want to stand there and say, huh, a bus is coming at me. Well, what are my options here, right? You don't want to analyze, right? You don't want to overthink. You want to act without hesitation. So there's a thought that there's a chemical called cortisol that's in your brain anyway. It's a hormone that when fight or flight is engaged, and this happens instantly, it floods different areas of your brain and also helps shut down what they call the prefrontal cortex, which is what you associate with being you. It's memory, it's emotion, it's analysis, the things that make you most human. And it helps to dampen those because it doesn't want you overanalyzing. It doesn't want you thinking. It wants you acting. And that's why in that moment you have trouble remembering your own name. And yet when you sit down and that whole process dies away, you sit there going, well, of course, now I knew what I wanted to say. Isn't that frustrating? But again, it's actually designed to save your life. How about skin? What happens to your skin? Your arms?
Sweaty.
Yeah, that's the hands get sweaty. We'll get to that. What about the skin on your arms? What happens? Goosebumps. You know why that is? First of all, it's because you've lost a lot of the blood from the surface of your skin because it's all going to your muscles. And goosebumps are another way to sort of add a layer of thickness to your skin and protect you in case you get cold. The second reason is, anybody ever see what a cat does when it gets angry? Or when it senses a threat? What does it do?
Close up.
Yeah, right. Puts its back up and all its fur stands on end. Your goosebumps are your fur standing on end. It's the exact same idea. We have this embedded in us that if we see a threat, first thing we want to do is make ourselves look more imposing, and we don't have much hair in our arms, but the hair we have this physiological response that says makes it stand up straight so that we look larger and more imposing to an enemy. And that's why you have goosebumps. All right, I think this is the last one. Arms and legs. What happens to the muscles in your arms and legs? Do they shake? Do you find your knees knocking? Yeah? Same idea. I mentioned this before. All your blood is now being diverted to all of the muscles in your arms and legs and your hands and everywhere. But you're not using all of that energy you're sending to your muscles. If you were fighting your way out, they'd probably be okay. Or if you were running, they'd be okay. But you're just standing there. And so they're overwhelmed with all of this blood and energy that you're not using. And that can cause them to shake. It also, again, creates that friction that primes them to be used most effectively, that puts them at maximum strength. And hands. Who said hands? Lynn did. What happens to your hands, Lynn?
Sweaty.
Yeah, they get all sweaty. Anybody want to guess why that is? This is my favorite one. The reason your hands get sweaty, again, physiological response, is that in the process of running away or fighting or climbing a tree, chances are you're going to have to grip something. And you will find the traction on your hands improves if they are slightly moist. You know how you know that? What do you do when you turn a page in a book? Exact same thing. So your body secretes this little bit of moisture. It's actually almost exactly like salt water. That makes it easier for you to, say, grab a rock or grab a branch on a tree if you're scampering up into a tree. Or if you fall down, makes it easier for you to grip the ground so you can get back up. Or makes it easier for you to hold a fist if you got to throw a punch. You get the idea? So all of these symptoms that we experience in the moment of speaking or thinking about speaking that are so miserable in that moment are actually all designed to save your life. That doesn't make them probably any easier to tolerate, but I hope the knowledge of that at least reminds you that there is a positive benefit, and it's just that it's misplaced. It's not designed to be used in this situation. All right, so with all of that in mind, by the way, I want to add one thing. I did this a while ago, and I was told that I was just overwhelming for people to see this graphic of the body all covered with these red circles. So I just want to show you this. One part of the body, totally unaffected. This spot right here, totally relaxed and good, and don't have to worry about that at all.